In the rugged, unforgiving landscapes of northern Mexico, a group of fierce and independent peoples once roamed, their very name striking fear into the hearts of their more settled neighbors. These were the Chichimecas, nomadic warriors, whose legacy is deeply intertwined with the complex tapestry of Mesoamerican history. The term Chichimeca itself is shrouded in mystery and misconception. Derived from the Nahuatl language, it was originally used by the Aztecs to describe the semi-nomadic tribes inhabiting the arid regions north of the Valley of Mexico. However, it's crucial to understand that Chichimeca was not a single, unified group, but rather a collective term encompassing various indigenous peoples with diverse cultures and languages. These nomadic societies included tribes such as the Guamares, Guachichiles, and Zacatecos, each with their own distinct identities and territories. What united them in the eyes of their more sedentary neighbors was their nomadic lifestyle, their fierce independence, and their formidable skills as warriors. Life for the Chichimecas was intimately tied to the harsh environment they called home. The arid and semi-arid lands of northern Mexico shaped every aspect of their existence. Unlike the great agricultural civilizations of central Mexico, the Chichimecas were primarily hunter-gatherers, their survival dependent on an intimate knowledge of their surroundings. Their diet reflected this deep connection to the land. They subsisted on wild fruits, roots, and the bounty of the desert. The tuna or prickly pear fruit was a staple, as were the sugar-rich pods of the mesquite tree. They supplemented this plant-based diet with small game, hunting rabbits, deer, and various birds, with remarkable skill using bows and arrows. The Chichimeca's nomadic lifestyle necessitated a high degree of mobility and adaptability. Their dwellings were simple and portable, often described as wickiups made from fallen branches, similar to those used by the Apache. This allowed them to move swiftly across vast territories, following game and seasonal resources, but it would be a grave mistake to view the Chichimecas as simple or primitive. Their way of life was a sophisticated adaptation to a challenging environment, requiring deep knowledge, skill, and resilience. Their ability to thrive in lands that others found inhospitable was a testament to their ingenuity and strength. The Chichimecas were renowned for their prowess as warriors. Their intimate knowledge of the terrain, combined with their physical endurance and skill with the bow and arrow, made them formidable opponents. They developed guerrilla-style tactics that would later prove highly effective against Spanish colonial forces. The Chichimecas' reputation as fierce warriors was not unfounded. They practiced animal sacrifice and were feared for their expertise and brutality in war. However, it's important to view these practices within their cultural context, rather than through the lens of colonial prejudices. One of the most significant chapters in Chichimeca history was the Chichimeca War, which raged from 1550 to 1590. This protracted conflict between the Chichimeca tribes and Spanish colonial forces had far-reaching consequences for the region. The war was sparked by Spanish encroachment into Chichimeca territories, driven by the desire to exploit the mineral wealth of the area, particularly the silver mines in regions like Zacatecas and Guanajuato. The Chichimecas' response to this invasion was fierce and effective. They employed hit-and-run tactics, utilizing their superior knowledge of the terrain to ambush Spanish forces and disrupt supply lines. Their agility in the rugged landscape allowed them to engage and disengage at will, frustrating the less mobile Spanish forces. This conflict highlighted the Chichimecas' tactical brilliance. They adapted their traditional hunting skills to warfare, using their bows and arrows with deadly accuracy. Their ability to strike swiftly and disappear into the landscape earned them a fearsome reputation among the Spanish. The war also demonstrated the Chichimecas' capacity for strategic alliances. While often portrayed as isolated tribes, they showed remarkable ability to form coalitions with other indigenous groups affected by Spanish encroachment. These alliances, though sometimes tenuous, allowed them to present a united front against a common adversary. The protracted nature of the Chichimeca War had profound impacts on Spanish colonial policy. The cost of subjugating the Chichimecas began to outweigh potential gains, leading to shifts in strategy and an increasing emphasis on pacification and negotiation. This shift would have lasting implications for the relationship between indigenous peoples and colonial powers in the region. Despite the challenges they faced, the Chichimecas maintained a strong sense of cultural identity. Their spiritual beliefs and traditions were deeply intertwined with their way of life, including their approach to warfare. For many Chichimeca tribes, battles were not merely physical confrontations, but spiritual undertakings, imbued with rituals and guided by ancestral spirits. This spiritual dimension was reflected in their appearance as warriors. Many adorned themselves with distinctive clothing, featuring feathers, symbols, and animal skins. These were not mere decorations, but expressions of identity and spiritual power on the battlefield. The story of the Chichimecas is not just one of conflict and resistance. It's also a tale of cultural exchange and adaptation. As they came into contact with more sedentary societies, including the Toltecs, there was a gradual blending of cultures. This is particularly evident in the case of the Tolteca-Chichimeca, a group that emerged from the interaction between Toltec and Chichimeca peoples. This cultural mixing led to fascinating developments in religious beliefs, artistic expressions, and even language. The mythology surrounding deities like Quetzalcoatl, for instance, shows evidence of this cultural cross-pollination. Over time, the spiritual narratives of both groups began to merge, producing rich tapestries of folklore that speak to shared origins and traditions. The legacy of the Chichimecas extends far beyond their historical conflicts. Their influence can be seen in the cultural practices, traditions, and festivities of many indigenous communities in central and northern Mexico today. Various dances, rituals, and folklore that have been passed down through generations bear the imprint of Chichimeca heritage. In modern Mexico, the memory of the Chichimecas is not merely a historical footnote, but a lived reality for many. Symbols, dances, and local mythologies echo the past with pride, affirming a profound connection to these ancient warriors. The chiringa, a ritual object tied to ancestral beliefs within certain indigenous communities, is a tangible manifestation of these enduring traditions. The story of the Chichimecas challenges us to reconsider our understanding of civilization and progress. Their society, often dismissed as primitive by early Spanish chroniclers, demonstrated remarkable resilience, adaptability, and sophistication. Their ability to thrive in harsh environments and their complex social and spiritual practices speak to a deep wisdom that deserves recognition and respect. As we reflect on the legacy of the Chichimecas, we are reminded of the diversity and richness of indigenous cultures in the Americas. Their story is one of resistance, adaptation, and endurance in the face of immense challenges. It serves as a powerful reminder of the strength and resilience of indigenous peoples throughout history. The Chichimecas, those fierce nomadic warriors of ancient Mexico, may have faded from the physical landscape, but their spirit lives on. In the vast deserts and rugged mountains of northern Mexico, their legacy endures, a testament to the indomitable human spirit and the profound connection between a people and their land. As we conclude our journey through the world of the Chichimecas, let us carry with us a deeper appreciation for the complexity of indigenous histories and the ongoing struggles for cultural preservation and recognition. The story of the Chichimecas is not just a chapter in Mexico's past. It is a living legacy that continues to shape the present and future of indigenous communities across the Americas. For those seeking to explore these ancient lands and uncover more of Mexico's rich indigenous heritage, join us at Adventure Seeker's Paradise for more incredible journeys into the heart of Mesoamerican history and culture.